Hey, what's up guys? This is Anthony from Anthony's Customs, and for this review, we are looking at the Lightning Collection Mighty Morphin Red Ranger or Tyranno Ranger. And this is an interesting release because we already got a Red Ranger from the exclusive 2-pack. That one had armor, and the head was turbo. It didn't match anything, it's not an accurate head. This is the same figure without the armor, so there's definitely a few issues. There are some good things though, and we'll talk about that, but definitely some bad things, and that's more important in a review because that's what keeps you from buying something and wasting your money. So we're going to talk about that too. So let's go ahead and get it off the stand and take a closer look. This guy stands just about 6¼ inches, which makes him pretty close to 16 centimeters. Basically the same as all the other Power Rangers we've looked at so far. They're mostly using the same parts. This one is clean as heck. In most cases, the paint job on it's very nice. The belt is really well done. The chest is nice and clean. The head is nice and clean. The only real downsides to the paint are over here on the arms where they painted the white plastic red, which I'm sure it would have been far worse if they painted red plastic white, but this is definitely not great. They could have done a lot better with that red up there. Not terrible. And then the neck is pretty fuzzy, but again, that's not that big of a deal. The face paint is very nicely done. The silver teeth around the visor, very nice. The silver mouth on the mouth, very nice. And then the dinosaur eyes are very clean. Head is still not accurate at all. It is a nice head. Otherwise, like the details are good, but it's not accurate, so that's definitely a bummer. Has the wrong shape, very boxy, but otherwise it's pretty clean. If you're not into Power Rangers and you just thought it looked cool, then get it. You don't care. Who gives a crap if it's accurate if you're not getting it for accuracy, so that's fine. Sculpt is still the same. It's thicker than it should be, really, realistically speaking, compared to the original Power Rangers. They were not thick, but it's fine. It still has a more natural look than the Lightning Collection or Legacy Collection, so it's okay. So here's the thing, aesthetically speaking, and I almost forgot about it because this is a weird thing. This part of the figure, the main trunk of the figure, entirely different red than these parts. Under some lighting. Under this lighting, it's almost indistinguishable. It's almost the same. In this studio lighting, which is color corrected, it looks pretty good. In my regular people lighting in the rest of the house, it looks disgustingly different. So that's going to be an issue. If you buy it in the store and it looks normal, which I doubt it because it's usually fluorescent lights, but who knows, and it looks normal, then you get it home and it looks whack. That's a very possible thing. It could look worse in the store and better at home. There's no way for me to tell you what it's going to look like under whatever lighting you have. There's a million different types of lights at all different color temperatures. There's no way to say. This is deceptively good looking though for some lighting. I want to just be clear. I'm not trying to deceive you. I can't help it. It's just the way the lighting works. All right? Okay. So aesthetically, if it looks like this all the time, I'll give it an 8. Even though the head's off, it's still clean. It's mostly good. If it doesn't look like this, it's like a 5 because it's so terribly different colored. All right? Okay, just so we're clear. Now, we do have some accessories. We have the helmeted head, and then we have the unhelmeted head. They are both the same heads from the previous release of this guy with the armor. The sad face Jason is a little weird. I don't know why they did sad face Jason, but it's fairly accurate, so I'll give him a little credit there. We have 2 gripping hands, which come on him, and then 2 fist hands. We do have a blade blaster, which is only in gun mode, which I find irritating, because you can't put it in his pocket, in the holster, not his pocket. I mean, I guess you could, but that's not how they do it, at least if I remember correctly. And then we do get his sword, which is pretty nicely done, and we get a lightning effect, which is pretty nicely done. So, yeah, it's not bad. I don't like the blade blaster missing the folded up component or version of it, so that's a bummer. But, yeah, it's alright. I'll give it a 7. I'll give it an 8. That's still a pretty good batch of accessories for a $20 figure. Alright, on to the articulation. The head has just a little bit of tude, which I like. Of course, full rotation. You have a hinge and a ball peg. You're going to operate mostly on that hinge, though. But yeah, it's decent enough. He can look up, he can look down. I like it. I really wish that head was accurate, because otherwise, I mean, it's an otherwise pretty decent looking figure. God, I wish that was accurate. It's just missing the particular look. You guys know what I mean. If you're familiar with it, you know exactly what I mean. If you're not, then you're like, it looks fine, shut up. So I will. Bicep swivel is not there. That's the butterfly joint. Gotcha. Boom roasted. I just said the wrong thing. I don't sleep anymore. It works nicely, like really nicely. Exceptionally nicely. It screws up the diamond pattern completely, but it works well, so that's good. You can bring the arms up. Their shoulders are notoriously stiff, but they do go up nicely, so that's good. Of course, you have your full range this way. There's the bicep swivel. Double jointed elbow, wrist swivel and hinge, that's standard. Diaphragm joint is pretty solid. Ab crunch down here is good. Still a weird combination of joints, but it's not terrible on these releases at least, so that's okay. Floaty belt, legs go out to the side pretty well. You want to get that out of the way. Not great. This one seems tighter than others. I don't know how that keeps happening. They seem to be mostly the same parts, so I don't know what's up with that. Going forward and back, we get a decent forward, no back. Thigh swivel is fine. Double jointed knee is fine. We do have a boot swivel, so that's helpful. Ankles go all the way back, and if you do it that way, even farther back. And if you take them all the way forward, you get them... Well, you have to get this over this lip to get it farther forward, so that sucks. It can be done, but it's a pain in the butt, so I'll leave it right there and let you know that that's how it works. You get a really nice swivel on that peg for the ankle rocker. So articulation, I'll give an 8. So, final thoughts on this guy. I'm so torn because if the helmet was right, and if the red didn't look weird in some lighting, this is almost perfect. For a $20 figure, it's like awesome, great. But the head being inaccurate is something I can't ignore. And the red being inaccurate or inconsistent is something I can't ignore as well. So, I don't know what to do, because right here it looks pretty darn good. I'll give it an 8. I'm still going to give it an 8, but you have to consider those caveats. You might get it home and it looks terrible because of the red. And the helmet you can just totally decide on ahead of time, so I'm going to give it an 8, but you have to keep those things in mind. So, there you go. I personally really like it, more than I think I should because of the objective issues, but that's not how the 8 was determined. So there you go. Thanks for watching, guys. If you enjoyed this video, please do give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, give it a thumbs down, and subscribe anyway, because maybe you'll like something else. I have thousands of videos on the channel, and new ones coming out daily, except for Wednesdays, sometimes. So come back for all of that, and in the meantime, keep collecting.